Guys, welcome. Dine at Home Week 29 collaboration on the main course with Fondue and Wagyu. Absolute sellout, sold out in 3 days, I think. So thank you so much to every single one of you who have ordered the box this weekend. We've actually bought all the Wagyu available to us from Fondue and Wagyu, so we literally can't do any more boxes. And there's a few people who are still waiting on if we can portion more or whatever, but we'll get back to you if we can. But so far so good. But again, yeah, we're completely sold out. So thank you so much for everyone who has purchased a box as always. So on with the video, on with your menu. Your starter, your first taste of Dine at Home is the beautiful milk bread, which obviously is tear and share, as you all know. Any newcomers into the oven, 180 degrees, which should be preset 5 minutes. And then obviously take that out and enjoy that with some beautiful marmite butter. And again, as always, make sure you keep your butter out at room temperature as soon as your box arrives. As soon as your box arrives, make sure your ice cream goes into the freezer. It's something that some people forget, so make sure that goes into the freezer straight away. Okay, for your starter, obviously a little bit more sort of Indian inspired. So we've made our own beautiful lamb samosa, made our own pastry as well. It's the first time for me, never made a samosa before, so I'm really delighted with the outcome. To get a beautiful lamb samosa, you get a pickled cucumber with green bean salad, which is in there. That's to share between two. Beautiful raita, so a nice Greek yogurt. Some green chilli, coriander, and some garlic through there as well. And then a beautiful little dressing, green chilli and shallot dressing with some mint oil and some fresh mint through it as well. So yeah, super sort of traditional sort of flavours in essence with especially with samosa and with Indian cuisine, the dressing of waiter, and yeah, just a beautiful starter. So I'm going to show you how to do it really quickly. So super simple. That's been shallow fried for you already on both sides. So that just needs to go on a little piece of greaseproof paper, straight into the oven at 180 between sort of 4 and 5 minutes. It won't crispen up. If you do want it crisp, you want to shallow fry it again, you can do that, but you just need to be careful because the colour's already been added to the samosa, so you need darker than that. So that goes into the oven at 180 degrees for 4 to 5 minutes, and then your salad just simply gets mixed. Use a little bit of the dressing for the salad, and the rest of it to actually obviously dress the plate, and then your raita is obviously a nice cool yogurt type garnish kit with it as well. So join me in 4 to 5 minutes. I'm just about to put that into the oven to get nice and hot, and then join me in 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going through the plating. Okay, so the oven has just gone off for 180 degrees for the 5 minutes on the samosa. So I'm just going to get that out and begin to plate. Oh, crispy, just crispy and quite nice actually, to be fair. Not crispy, but it's definitely crispy, especially on the edges. It's super hot. I always recommend doing a little knife test, as I do, especially with things like a fritter. If it's been reheated, please make sure to stick a knife right in the middle, leave it there for 3-4 seconds, pop it on the bottom of your lip, and if it's obviously piping hot, perfect. If it's not, put it back in and get it nice and hot, guys, please, just to make sure you obviously keep on top of that. Okay, so with your salad, this is for 2 people, but I will dress it all. Yeah, we get a fair amount there, to be fair, which you can probably see. Obviously the cucumber is super pickled, so again you don't want to sort of have too much of that. The green beans we just blanched nicely and just left those obviously as they are. So with your dressing, just stir it up, and it will all come together because obviously you have all the beautiful shallot and mint and chilli in there as well. There's a little bit of red chilli in there, so put a little bit of that on, not loads. Make sure you get the shallot in there as well, so all that sort of beautiful dressings all in there. Add a little bit of salt to that as well. I'd always recommend using Malden, or sea salt should I say. Malden is my preferred make. And then the beautiful raita, which again is a pot for 2 people. And again, this guy's is plating. This is what the beautiful thing is about these boxes. You can plate it however you like, completely however you like. The elements, each element is for a different thing. So essentially this is like the cooling, creamy, sort of fatty element to this dish. So I'm just going to be a bit different this time. I'm going to do a nice little circle of that. When I say circle, it's near on a circle, I want me in there. So angle, see the exact shape of my stitches. And then on top of that, I'm just going to put your samosa, beautiful, and then super simple, on top of that, your salad. Sure, it's a nice amount of green beans just on top. Some more green beans on there as well. And to finish it all off, Super simple. Be dressing. A little bit more on top. Just a little bit more. Just dot it all in and around. Just like that. Like that. Using a starter. This week's menu, guys. So beautiful homemade spiced lamb samosa with raita yogurt on the bottom, and your pickled cucumber and green bean salad dressed with your shallots and meat. That's it. Guys, enjoy that starter, I know I will, so I'll join you after that for the main course. Guys, hope you enjoyed the starter. We've absolutely demolished that, so hopefully you enjoyed that. And please obviously make sure that it's nice and hot. To 5 or 6 minutes, just do it in your oven, get it back in there, get it nice and hot. Okay, so on to your main course, which is the collaboration with Ireland Wagyu. This is a beautiful short rib of Wagyu, which essentially is the sort of the meat that's on the ribs, essentially. So sort of here, so you've got the sirloin and the fillet and everything around the back. And obviously the rump is the rump, and then you have the ribs that are obviously on here. So this is a beautiful meat that's sort of on the bone, works really firm, works really hard. We brine it for 4 days, and then we cook it for a further 2 days. Tomorrow's is in the water bottle just over there. So basically, yeah, and then we press it and portion. It keeps beautiful texture, so it's nice and soft. When it fries a really nice piece as well. Some of you guys will have 2 smaller pieces each, so if you're sharing, it'll be 4 pieces, and some people may have just 1 piece each as well. It's all different cuts and sizes, guys, so again, I can't guarantee which ones you've got, obviously, but they're exactly the same. Some are obviously from the rib parts are a bit smaller, and some are from the belly parts are a little bit larger. It all tastes exactly the same, you can prepare the same as well. So I've chosen a fatty piece for this. We have gone through, me and Mike have gone meticulously through each of them because some of the fat is quite excessive, and you can see by this piece. This is a dream for me and Mike. So this sort of piece is literally the Rolls Royce for us. I know some of you may feel it's a little bit fatty. So as you can see, the marbling on the back, this is the one side, so again the fat piece is quite strong. So as you can see, the marbling is obviously under here, that's quite a large fat piece, but this is the creme de la creme. So you've got a beautiful top piece here, a beautiful layer of fat, and then you've got the marbling underneath. This is how much, when me and Mike, Mike is actually, his mouth is watering behind this camera. But that's basically the piece, but that's essentially, you'll get a lot more of a more meaty. But as you know, Wagyu, it's fed on beer and a bit beer, yeah? So if you see the guy down the pub, he's not going to be like a stick thin, is he? You know what I mean? He's going to have a bit of a beer belly, so there's no difference to these guys either. Okay, this is the beautiful pom anna. We've sliced the potatoes a little bit thicker, pressed it quite heavily. You still get a bit more of a texture with the pom anna. This is something personal for us. And obviously layered with beautiful caramelised onion, which is seasoned with a little bit of thyme as well. You get a beautiful beef Wagyu sauce. So basically the fat, which is obviously sort of got a similar colour to that because we've obviously cooked the whole sauce out with the fat. That's laid on top. So when you do reheat it, make sure you whisk that in. Don't get rid of that fat. It's a delicious flavour. Okay, this one here, dark one, is a beautiful tomato fondue Mike has made, and he's also smoked it. This goes so well with the beef. It's sweet, sour, so rich in umami. Just absolutely delicious accompaniment. Also, there's a type of ketchup as well, because again, it is a fatty dish. We've also got nice onion ketchup as well, but we haven't put too much acidity into that one like you would with the beetroot former weeks. That one's a bit more sort of oniony. And then finally, we have an onion that's been cooked in Wagyu fat. These are huge onions, so we've actually halved some of them. So some of you guys will get obviously a whole piece, some of you will get a half piece. I'm going to cook with the half piece here just because of these. And that's it, guys. So the handwork is simply for the Wagyu. Everything else can just go straight onto a tray with a little bit of greaseproof paper underneath. Essentially the onion and the pomana, and then the 2 ketchups, or the fondue and the ketchup can be at room temperature. You can easily reheat the fondue if you would like. I would actually recommend to reheat it, but again, it's totally up to you. And then your Wagyu fat sauce obviously goes on the stove, and that should bring that up above 85 degrees. And that's it. So come and join me over here. We'll go through the roasting of the beef in the pan, which will take a matter of minutes, and then we'll put it all in the oven for around about 10 minutes, and you can come back and join us for the plate. Just to show you, I'm literally going to turn the stove on right now. So again, it's no preheated or anything like that, but I will turn it up quite high just to get. So that's the sort of heat that I'm going on. So I'm going to put a suitable sized pan on top. Obviously, that's for the sauce all ready to go. So allow that to come to the heat. You don't want to fry this on a low heat. The reason being it's already pre-cooked, so we don't want to sort of boil it or toughen it up. There's no real danger of that happening. but we want to make sure that when we're almost cooking the steak again, that's essentially the noise we want to. We never put the steak into a cold pan. So essentially this piece of beef here, we don't want to go into a cold pan either. So I just want to sort of, literally get that nice and hot. And we don't need any oil for this either. So this is going to go straight in. If you do have more of a meaty piece, essentially with minimal fat, pop a little bit of veg oil in there and then pan fry that. But because this has got so much fat onto it, we're not needing to do that. Then again, don't be scared of putting a little bit of oil in there if you want to. You're going to finish it with a little bit of butter anyway, because as I say, every single week, and this is the 29th week, and I've said it from day one, this is date night, celebration night, occasion night, whatever it may be, we want to make sure this is the taste it can be. And trust me, if you put butter in the pan, it's going to be tasty. Okay, just promise me on that. And this honestly, fuck the diet for one night, you know what I mean? Who cares? Just going to get some greaseproof paper for the potato and the onion, which I'll do that now while the pan's heating up. Right, okay, that's all done. Okay, so I'm going to think that's going to be about there, but test it. You know, put a bit of oil in there and then obviously shake it about. If it goes really loose straight away, that's obviously when you're hot, or wait for that sound. Okay, so we've got to pop that in. We're not going to go long, guys. We're going to go like 15-20 seconds each side. That's it. That's all we want. We just want to add a little bit of caramelisation to each of those corners. That's it. Your oven potentially could do it and would do it, but again, we want to speed that process up. Also, we're getting a little bit of heat in there now as well. It has been out of the fridge for what, 15-20 minutes. 15-20 minutes? Yeah, 15-20 minutes already, guys. So it's already come up to a little bit more of a temperature. First 20 seconds, beautiful as well. Very nicely there. As you see, listen, guys. I said to you, the fat piece for me is huge for us, but we just enjoy that type of flavour. I think the Wagyu fat is like no other. It's got a real serious sort of individual flavour. Which we just absolutely love. So you can see the pan's really starting to smoke there, so I'm just going to knock that down because the residual heat in the pan will continue doing what I need to do, i.e. colouring. That's all, that's 4 sides so far. Top and bottom, if you can do top and bottom, do it. If you can't, there's no real reason for you having to do it. Just as I said to you before, just add that little bit of extra bit of flavour. Colour looks so nice. I'm going to initially turn it back to that one side that we did first, a little amount of butter in the pan, just one, absolutely plenty. If you want to get a bit fancy, you can put some thyme and garlic in there as well. That's what we used to do in the restaurants to make sure that sort of flavour is passing through. So that's all that Wagyu fat. As you can see, guys, other than that knob of butter, all that fat has come from nothing other than the beef. So if you chose this menu on a diet, you definitely chose one of the wrong weeks. That is absolutely sensational. I mean, to have this actual ingredient on a Dine at home menu, I'm absolutely shocked. There we are, guys. So that's beautifully crispy on there. It was literally 20 seconds each side. Pop that onto a tray. Use that butter and Wagyu fat. I'm also going to put it over the onions as well. Beautifully hot. Put it on the polana. That's just because you can, no other reason. Pop it in the oven. I'm going to put that will probably take 8 minutes in this oven. Again, it'll probably take 10 to 12 minutes at home. Okay, so see you in like 10 minutes and we'll go for the plating. Okay guys, so the time has just gone off on the oven for the beef, onion and potato. I'm going to take that out. As you can see, beautifully nicely roasted. The actual top of the pomano is slightly roasted as well, so it's has a lovely bit of colour to it all on top as well. Okay, so as I said, guys, this is a nice, beautiful fatty piece of Wagyu for me and Mike. Because you know, as you can see, we can do it on a few pounds. So that one on first, guys. We can literally plate this straight away. Super. I mean, that is literally like it says I'm breaking. Obviously, the flavour of that is going to be absolutely sensational. I've done that strawberry area again. This is the worst greaseproof. In fact, have a little this is the worst greaseproof paper literally known to man. So cheers, right? So get a nice little, well, basically invest in some decent greaseproof paper first, and you won't need to do this. It's absolutely boiling. So take this little tower potato off. Okay, perfect. Just there's a little tip. other than the grease period. Just try and keep it all in one shape as well. So obviously me, an absolute nightmare there. I'm sure you'll do a hell of a lot better than me at home. And then with your onion, I'll just take the outer layer of onion off. So it's just in the oven, it's just caramelised quite heavily. But again, it's perfectly edible, so if you do want it, obviously go for it. You keep them quite tight. All in. Just give that a nice little wipe as well. So with your ketchup, guys, again, it's totally up to you where you want to put this. I'm going to put mine on the side and use it as a ketchup. So for instance, with your steak and chips, you normally have a nice bit of Tommy caramel or something. Just use this as a little dip as well. Delicious. And then with your tomato fondue, so we've smoked it about 6 times. With like a smoking gun. So the reason behind the tomato fondue is like it's that hickory sort of barbecue sort of sauce flavour, which I think just goes really well with beef. So we decided to sort of reimagine that with a fondue. So it is, again, it's quite acidic. But you need it to cut through the richness of the beef just now. So we've used whole tomatoes, whole plum tomatoes. And then I'm just going to be really old school again. You don't need this much to be fair, but I'll give you loads anyway. Keep it in the fridge, it'll keep for absolute ages because there's quite a bit of sugar and vinegar's in there, so it'll be absolutely fine. Pop that on top of there, delicious. And then last but not least, sauce. Just put to heat. Just got a little skin on the top, so I've just finished that off as well. All that fat's emulsified in now, so it's got a little bit lighter in colour, but as you can see, all that fat's emulsified in. And then just make sure you sauce your beef. Make sure you sauce it. Well, sauce it all. See what I do that is beautiful. And there is a pretty bold plate of food for these cold nights. So beautiful piece of wagyu, braised short rib with your pomano potato, wagyu fat onion ketchup, smoked tomato fondue, finished off with your delicious wagyu fat sauce. Guys, enjoy that. I'm going to get my knife and fork because I'm tucking in, and I'll see you for the chocolate cake in about 15-20 minutes. Okay guys, so hopefully you enjoyed your main course of the beef for when you put everything together. It's absolutely awesome, so I hope you enjoyed it too. So on to your dessert, guys. Beautiful chocolate sponge cake that we basically baked, and we just poured a little bit of amaretto syrup over the top. I would recommend just to pop that into the microwave for like 30 seconds, just to obviously moisten it and then give it a nice bit of heat to it as well. For the video, I'm not going to obviously do that because it's really pointless, but as I said at home, yeah, 30 seconds into the microwave, absolutely perfect for that. And then you've got a delicious little chocolate cremo, which is whipped up, so it's a little bit more like a real rich chocolate mousse. We've used dark chocolate as well, so it's super rich and indulgent. That's because basically the chocolate itself, the sponge, only has a very small amount of proper chocolate, or sort of real chocolate. It has quite a lot of cocoa powder, so we just wanted to make sure that sort of fatty richness coming through from the whipped cremo. And then you've got a beautiful pecan crumble, so basically like a demerara crumble mix, which is like super sweet. And did some toasted pecans through there. And then your ice cream will be in a nice little, as it always is, a nice little freezable carton. Just at the top of the video to make sure you put it in the freezer. And then you'll have a nice little douche of that to go with your dessert. I'm going to take some ice cream from the freshly churned ice cream, which is obviously mascarpone. So for plating, guys, with your cremo, I'll just literally put it as we do quite regularly. Put your sponge to one side and then plate the garnish to the opposite side, to the right hand side, to keep it nice and close. So with a hot spoon, I'm going to take it is super rich. With a hot spoon, nice little tip, pop that cremo just there, and I always make a little well. So you can see I've sort of made a little well there onto the cremo. That's literally just to sip the ice cream in. With a hot spoon, you can literally do that straight away. Super easy. Just clean it off, and then go straight into my mascarpone ice cream, which is super soft because we've churned it a few times today. Sit that directly on the top, and then with your beautiful crumble, adds a nice bit of texture to the dish as well. Put quite a bit in there as well, to be fair, probably more than actually what you need when you use, so just pop that in the fridge, and again that will keep for absolutely ages as well. And there is your dessert, guys. There'll be chocolate sponge, a little chocolate, whipped chocolate crumble, mascarpone ice cream, and pecan crumble. And that concludes your 3-course meal. For your little taster, after a little treat, is we've gone for gin-soaked raisins this week. So just over the road behind us, we have Mabel's Tea Room, who do all the cakes. They're doing the Christmas cakes at the moment, and they're basically over-soaked a load of raisins. So put that through the fridge this week. You can really taste the gin. So it goes really well with a little digestive, obviously with tea and coffee. And otherwise, yeah, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. I hope you enjoy the menus which is we did. Stay safe and dine at home, and see you next weekend. Thank you.